Welcome to the Community Council, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Alex, and we are the show that talks about everything great going on in our community. We show love to all of the amazing nonprofits out there just trying to make a difference, and I got someone on the phone with me right now that I'm going to have introduce themselves.
Oh, sure. So my name is Tracy Weiland, and I am a researcher, global speaker, and author on the topics of technology, work, skills, and careers, and also women's topics.
Oh, awesome. So what brings you on the show today? Which topic?
Well, today I'm talking about my hiring trends for 2016, and I've been doing this for quite a few years, and a lot of them have really proven true. And it's because I watch the news and listen to the news, and I listen to hear where the trends are, because there's usually jobs that follow behind that.
So, yeah, I was going to ask, why do this? Why is it important to look at hiring trends for the upcoming year?
Well, in my role, I'm very concerned about people staying employed for life. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people look at the traditional places for jobs and on the job boards, but actually, if you start to watch the trends, you might be able to get into a new wave of employment, and that's why I think it's important for people to see.
Awesome. So this might be a very general question, so I'm sorry, but what are the hiring predictions for 2016? What are we supposed to be looking for?
Sure. So the big five for 2016 that I've been keeping my eye on is the demographic shift of what I call the senior sensation, the fact that we are in the United States becoming an older population, and that opens up a lot of jobs. Number two is security on multiple levels. Number three of some of the trending technologies. Number four is the revival of blue-collar and skilled worker jobs. And number five is micropreneurs and micro businesses.
So let's go to number one first. You talk about the senior sensation. You said we are getting older as a demographic. But isn't that constantly flowing? Like, obviously, as people getting older, we still have young people on the way up, too. So does that, how does that work?
Well, actually, we do have a demographic shift in the United States. 1 in 3 Americans is now over the age of 50. Mm-hmm. It's over 100 million people. And aging is actually a really big business globally. It's a $7.1 trillion market. So, yes, while we have young people being born, we have people who are living longer. And it's a large population now that has created jobs, because as we get older, we need different types of services. We live differently. We have new kinds of ways that we address retirement and our time.
So that's why then, so are you then saying that because people are getting older, now they're kind of phasing out of their jobs and going into retirement and opening up those jobs for a younger demographic, or just more people in general?
Well, one, yes, the baby boomers are shifting and leaving the workforce and opening up jobs for younger people. But on a larger scale, they're creating jobs. As we get older, we need places to live. And the waiting list for adult communities or retirement homes, or even people desiring to live at home as they retire, opens up jobs, whether it's, construction jobs, hotel, home service jobs, medical jobs. And also because we're so fit and well, and the baby boomers are really redefining retirement. So this has opened up jobs in personal trainers, occupational therapists, physical therapists, you name it. There's more and more jobs just around to support the fact that we're living longer, and therefore we need more services.
That is, it's fascinating to me that you know all of this stuff to a T, which is why you do what you do. So what was number two again?
So number two is security, and I say security, sadly, is a safe bet. And I looked at security in three ways. Last year, cybersecurity was very big news. Sony Pictures, for example, was hacked. And so that opened up the door, actually, for cybersecurity jobs. In fact, it's one of the 12 fastest growing segments in the United States. And so we need people who are ethical hackers, people who can combat botnets. But it doesn't stop there. If you read the headlines, every day there's something about terrorism. And that has opened up a number of jobs. I mean, cities are creating counterterrorism squads and fleets of people who can help, whether it's bomb detection, whether it's cryptographers or forensic data analysts or security guards. Both on the public sector and private sector, people want protection. If you just look at the airports, events, even the NFL is beefing up protection, and this all opens up jobs for people at multiple levels.
What about, because I feel like even though there are definitely a demand for more jobs, what about the companies that are downsizing, that are trying to get more people, less people to do more work, really?
Right, and that's all about technology and efficiency. So I would encourage people, if you see that your job can be replaced by software or hardware, then you may want to think about expanding your skills and your experience. So, for example, the bank teller being replaced by an ATM, the gas attendant being replaced by automated gas pumps. These are areas that you need to start to think about of how can I keep ahead of that curve so that I can stay employed for life.
So, Tracy, what was number 3?
The number 3 is what are some of the trending technologies. Every year I touch on technology because it is a big employment area. There are always shortages, and there's always something new that people can get in on the curve. And by the way, it's one of the highest paying salaries, right? That and biomedical. So what's trending for 2016? Well, artificial intelligence. So just think about your iPhone, and Siri is going to get smarter and smarter. Your talking toys will talk back to you.
Alexa, the Amazon Echo, is another example.
Yes. So you have to think about, how artificial intelligence, there's a lot of cash flow going there. And it's not just on the tech side, but it's also we need people who can sell artificial intelligence, market it, consult in it. The second one is immersive technologies, and I think that one is really hot. This is augmented virtual reality or virtual reality. Just think about those immersive games that you might be playing. There's actually people who make a lot of money teaching other people how to play those games on YouTube and Twitch. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. You can actually make money teaching people to play games. It's kind of like a cooking show.
Yeah.
And esports will be a very big next wave, which is having people maybe playing Call of Duty, competing with other teams playing Call of Duty. And he actually was just in Vegas, and they were saying this is going to be the big next gambling wave because it's so exciting, and it's like team sports. It's just taken into technical terms.
Yeah. So, you also talked about blue collar workers and skilled workers. That kind of is different from what you were just talking to me when you're talking about beefing up security, all these things. When you say blue collar workers, what specific jobs are you talking about? Like construction workers?
Sure. So it's two levels. One, on the consumer level, we all need plumbers, carpenters, electricians, people to fix our air conditioning and repair people, and they are in demand. On a larger level, nationally, it's infrastructure, right? And this is where some of the higher paying jobs are, 50K and up. These are people who take care of our refineries, our electrical systems, subways, streetcar operators, oil and gas. Just think, trains, planes. All of these areas need people to support our infrastructure. And a lot of these jobs, are unionized. A lot of these jobs have great benefits as well.
So what would you say to, well, first off, was there also a final note after blue-collar workers that you were talking about?
Well, there's two. One is there's always driver shortages, and I think that anyone who likes to drive, not only for driving jobs like Uber and Lyft, but also, trucks. In fact, Amazon is coming out with their own fleet of trucks.
Oh, wow.
And I already see jobs being posted because Amazon is trying to get packages to people faster and faster, and so now they want to own their own trucking fleet, so they need drivers. And they also will be pushing drones for faster delivery, and they're going to need people to operate and train people to use drones.
It's very interesting because I love kind of how you have that take on that, because sometimes people think, oh gosh, they're going to be using drones for packages and everything. That means jobs will be taken away. But as you said, you need someone who's going to be controlling these drones.
Oh yes, if you think about Apple Computer, right? When they came out with the iPhone or the Android, the smart devices, that created a whole ecosystem of other jobs. People to make apps, people who make cases, people who make the headsets, the speakers. I mean, there's a whole ecosystems of industries that are created over new technology inventions. So I view technology as actually creating more jobs than displacing jobs or replacing jobs. But I will stress that if you're stuck in an area and you're getting automated out of a job, it's up to you to keep expanding your skills so that you can keep ahead of that curve.
Great. So my question is, what is your advice to people? Okay, now we know that there will be jobs in 2016. You're giving us the hiring predictions of 2016. What is your advice on how to get these jobs?
Sure. So there are always going to be the job boards, and you can go to different companies if you have your eyes set on something and look for the jobs. But that's why I think it's important to listen to the news and watch and listen to the news and read about the news, because some of these trends are mentioned daily in the news, but they haven't really hit the mainstream yet as, oh, these are jobs that I can get. So like, for example, this aging phenomenon in the U.S., that's creating jobs across the board. I met somebody who reinvented themselves as a real estate broker to be a real estate expert for retirees. Met someone who was a financial planner who reinvented their job to be financial planning for retirees. I met someone in L.A. who's a personal trainer. It's very competitive. He reinvented his personal training to be personal training for Parkinson's disease. So I think if you watch some of these trends, you can almost even create your own opportunity. And that's another growth area, is micropreneurs, people who are taking these trends and developing services or owning franchises to be able to support some of these new waves.
So, what do you think when you're looking at, people who are going out there and trying to apply for jobs or, beef up their skills, whatever it is? Do you see that maybe there's a common mistake that people usually make when it's going for jobs?
Yes, I think they flood the market with resumes. We call it they spray and they pray, instead of really thinking about what do you like to do that you do well and well enough to get paid for it. What skills and experience, true skills and experience do you have so that you could ask yourself honestly, who would hire me? Because that's what people are looking for. Someone they can hire who has the wherewithal, experience, and skills to be productive on day one. I think a lot of people apply for dream jobs and assume that the employer is going to train them or help them, get to the next level in the job. But in actuality, companies need to be productive on day one, and that's what they're looking for.
So, Tracy, is there anything else when it comes to 2016 and the hiring predictions that maybe you didn't tell us yet?
Yes, I'm very hot on micropreneurs and entrepreneurial efforts. Our millennial generation is certainly embracing this. They're looking at corporations and saying, I don't want to be on the salary treadmill. I want to have work-life balance. I want to have my own livelihood and control my time and my income. And so this whole idea of being entrepreneurs, whether you're using being an Uber driver or renting out a room in Airbnb, selling crafts on Etsy, or using Zazzle, there are so many digital platforms that people can actually develop their own business and make money at it. And I think that's something that we need to think about, is being entrepreneurs. The projections are by the end of this year, in 2016, 30% of the workforce will be working for ourselves.
Wow. I mean, that's really amazing when you think about it, because I feel like to be an entrepreneur, it comes in many different forms. But like you said, I see, on social media, people constantly trying to advertise their own, like you said, maybe crafts, maybe it's a clothing line that they did, and really just trying to get creative with that. Why do you think people are kind of rejecting the whole, I don't want to do the whole salary thing?
I think it's too confining for people. I think people can do more. They are much more creative, and they do want to have their own jobs and manage their own lifestyles. And I think a lot of our millennials looked at their parents and said they weren't happy. They sat in traffic. They went to a job that was, 9 to 5, punching a clock. And I'm better than that. I can do more than that. I'm smarter than that. I can learn, and I can be productive. Plus, at the same rate, we're living much longer. A lot of people to 100 which means you'll be working for 50 to 70 years. So more likely than not, you will have many jobs, not just one job for life.
So, Tracy, is there anything, any place where our listeners can see all this information again? Do you have a website, a book?
Oh, sure. So my website is TracyWilen.com, which is TracyWilen.com. I'm on Twitter at Tracy Wilen, on LinkedIn, which is also where the blog is posted, and my Facebook is Dr. Tracy Wilen.
Dr. Tracy, thank you so much for coming on the show with us today. And I love that we got a chance to speak again.
Yes, thank you very much, and have a great new year.